What's up, you guys? This is Adam Gillespie with Rancid and Sweaty Calves coming at you with yet another video. Now, before I get started with this one, this is going to be slightly different from my usual topics on this channel. My usual topics, of course, being pop culture and the stuff going on within movies, TV shows, and comic books, and even video games from time to time, and how the woke left has infected the brands that everyone has grown up on for so long, and the detriment of that company, the falling down, the failing, the flailing like a fish on a hot summer's day left off on a pier instead of being thrown back into the ocean that they're currently exhibiting the actions of, due to the fact that they have completely alienated their audiences. That's my usual topic. Or something more perverted because of the fact that there is evil in this world that needs to be called out. This one is going to be more so regarding proper etiquette in worship services. So if you are not a Christian and you don't want to listen to this, I totally understand. However, for those of my listeners who are Christian, these are going to be my basic thoughts on this subject. Obviously, the Peaches song from Super Mario Bros. The movie was a huge hit. Everyone was listening to it. I think it was like the second most popular song on the internet for a while there. Maybe the first most popular. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the charts, but I know it got like over 2 million views in like 0 time. So it was a hugely popular song. And of course, that meaning that a bunch of secularized churches decided it would be a good idea to make a song called Jesus, You're So Cool, based off of the Peaches, You're So Cool song that Jack Black sung. This right here is a TikTok video of that video. It's actually titled Jesus, You're So Cool. And before I get started, I do want to mention this. There is a band out there that is called the Apologetics, who does use the musical concepts of other bands to create songs that sound like other songs. For instance, you've heard Back in Black. Well, there's a song called Back Intact that they've sung. You've heard Enter Sandman. There's a song called Enter Samson. There's a bunch of these types of songs out there. There's rock, I love rock and roll, right? And for the one that they have, it's called Romans Road. So there's a lot of songs out there that Apologetics have done. And I'll get into why I brought that up later, but I want you guys to listen to this just a little bit, all right?
Jesus, you're so cool. You're gonna shine in my heart like a jewel.
Okay, so there's a little bit there. I'm not sure if I can play the entire thing and not get copyright struck, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys watch this. It is a video on TikTok. I don't have a channel or an app or a profile on TikTok, but if you guys wanted to go look it up, just look up Churches Singing Peaches. And you'll be able to find it. It should be like the third video result on your Google search. It'll take you to the video. But my basic thoughts on this, because I don't really care to listen to this song right now, is the Apologetics makes their music, which is supposed to be Christian-oriented songs that sound like secular music. Obviously, I've mentioned a few already. Enter Sandman, Back in Black is now Back Intact. They even redid an Eminem song. Instead of Till I Collapse, I forget what it was, but they redid the Till I Collapse song from Eminem. So, they've done a lot of those songs. And I like to listen to those songs because, well, first of all, I think they're fun. I think it's fun to listen to those songs. I think it's enjoyable. But at the same time, I have more acceptance towards them using those songs as albums that they're putting together and making music that people can enjoy, rather than putting it on the pulpit, rather than putting it up on stage and singing it in a worship service manner. I don't really think that this, right here, what this guy has done, rewriting the song to mean Jesus, You're So Cool instead of Peaches, so it probably goes Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Jesus, understand.
Yeah. He's just replacing the word Peaches with Jesus, changing a few things here and there. Not necessarily all that interesting. It's very low bar, and it comes from a place of, I want to seem hip and cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a song that I know is popular right now, that I can make Peaches sound like Jesus, change a few words here and there, and boom, I'm done, But that's not what it is. That's not what worship is. Worship is the pouring out of your heart and soul towards the person, the being that you believe to have saved you from damnation. Showing your appreciation through singing with all of your joy, with all of your heart. At least that's what's colloquially seen as worship. There's also the worship of just praying to God. Anytime you do something in honor of God, or with the intention to honor God, it's worshiping God. So long as you're not worshiping a false god and you're not doing something that's completely and totally inaccurate and sinful. But if you're doing something that is in line with the scriptures, and you're doing it with all of your heart and soul put into it, that's worship. Going to church and being as focused on the sermon that's being preached as it's being preached and taking notes is worship. That is worship. But colloquially, people like to call the worship service the portion of the service where an individual is up on stage and they're leading people in song, and they're leading people in what is colloquially referred to as worship. So I'm not against using that term, but I do want everyone to understand that worship is not just getting up on stage and singing and having a tambourine in the front row and somebody clapping their hands. Worship is putting your all into the attention and focus that God deserves from us, for sure. This right here, this Jesus, you're so cool, that's not putting your heart and soul into it. Someone took something that was famous and popular, and for the purpose of getting clout, made it Jesus, you're so cool. Now look, I am not against people using songs that are secular and turning them into songs where you can put a faith-based message into them. As I've said, apologetics, but they are not using apologetic songs like Back Intact as worship music, because it has its own place. That the music that the apologetics make is specifically designed to be music that sounds like secular music and is based off of secular music, but is referring to things that are in Christian doctrine. Another one that's fun is Welcome to the Judges or something like that. Nevertheless, this is not proper etiquette for church. And I know this is probably fairly boring to a lot of people, but this is actually rather important. I think it's important for people who are in the church. I think it's important for Christians out there. I think it's important for a lot of people who would probably look at this and say, "Oh, what's the problem?" No, you can do this for sure. Just don't use it as a worship song, because it's not really worship if you're just taking something that you know is popular and making a Christian song that sounds like it, or a song that has the word Jesus in it and sounds like the thing that you're using as a reference. It's not really all that much effort put into it. And again, there's a place for it, apologetics, but they're not using that as worship music. It's used to have good, clean Christian songs that sound like other songs, that still have doctrinal accuracy to them, but not really an exegesis of the text. It's just mentioning the stories and using the tunes of other songs to tell those stories. Unironically, apologetics would be a better series of songs, a better series of musical trees to use over Peaches / Jesus, you're so cool. Seriously. And I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to go much further into this. That's my basic thoughts. Like I said, there is a place and a time. This is not the right place. This is not the right time. And to each their own. But, I mean, I'm being totally serious. My personal belief is that you should not be doing this. You should not be having Peaches, You're So Cool as the song that you make something off of. It's not honoring to God. It's really is like, hey God, here's a hand-me-down. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me listening to it, okay? So, yeah, those are my basic thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, share this video out there with your friends, subscribe and hit that bell notification icon if you haven't already, and make sure to follow me on all my different socials, including my Rumble, which I leave in the description below. And if you don't have the link there, then you can just look me up on Rumble at Rancit, capital RANTSIT, all one word, no space, and it's all caps in case you're wondering, but I'm fairly certain you can search for me with just one letter capitalized as well. I don't think it'll matter that much. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.